Good morning, good morning. It is Wednesday, the 12th of February, 2025. Well done for making it this far. Big shout out to Roxy Rules in the chat. We've also got Martin Harrow in there. Oh, I meant to say, I'm Graham Hughes. Hello. We've also got Billy Kershaw, Sarah Davis, Tripod 9000, Alan Jackson, Stevie H, Daylight Dave, and others. If you would like to join them in the chat, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button and you will be allowed, you will be permitted access, granted access to the lovely, gorgeous, awesome chat over here. Apparently it's a bit drizzly in Merseyside. It's particularly drizzly here in Durham. So, yes. So we're going to be talking about Musk today, unfortunately. Spoke last night about the situation in the Middle East on Geoscope. If you didn't see that episode, if you want to watch it on catch up, you're very welcome to do so, although it is quite a heavy subject and I do put a lot of trigger warnings in there, or at least I try to. So we're going to be talking about Musk today because Musk yesterday decided that he would drop in on his friend Donald Trump, the leader of the free world, apparently, and put him in his place, basically. The old senile old git just sitting there with his orange face paint on, his clown makeup, while Elon Musk did all the talking because Donald Trump's too stupid to be able to do talking for himself. He doesn't really know what to say. When he does talk, he just rambles on about absolute bollocks. And as someone who, occasionally rambles on about absolute bollocks, and take it from me, I mean, it's not much of a skill to have. We had this specked up, well, we'll talk about this in a moment, but let's just talk about Musk's unelected power grab, okay? So he has been given unprecedented control over the US government without a single vote or confirmation by Congress. This is a guy who's just literally turned up and has been given the keys to the kingdom of America. He has more power than the president right now. And he's going around with this ridiculously named Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, named after a meme, like a little dog meme, because he's a fucking child. Do you know what I mean? But what he's actually doing with his little dog meme funniness, right, is he's killing children around the world who are not now receiving USAID, which they should be receiving, food and medicine, because the richest man in the world doesn't want the poorest people in the world to get food and medicine. He wants to take it from them. He wants to make sure that it rots on the shelf of a warehouse nearby while they starve to death or die of an easily preventable disease or ailment. He's gutted the USAID. He's also gutted the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is there to protect consumers against people like him, people like Musk, who run unchecked power and will, absolute con men who will stiff people for every penny that they can get. And also, he's also potentially going after FEMA, which is the Federal Emergencies Response Unit. And if they go after FEMA, which I think they're going to do, they're going to leave it up to the individual states to deal with any kind of natural disaster that happens. And as most of the natural disasters that we have, apart from the forest fires in California, of course, are generally, kind of, they just stay in the red states. That whole tornado alley down the middle of the country, the hurricane zone, from Florida up through Georgia, even as far as north as North Carolina. They're red states. They're pretty red states, and they're the ones that are going to need the federal funding for emergency response more than the blue states will. So this is going to hurt the people who voted for Trump more than the people who didn't vote for Trump. But there you go. I mean, these people didn't just vote for Trump, they voted for Elon Musk as well. Musk also has access now to several sensitive government databases, including payroll systems, intelligence reports, and classified information. Hey! Reagan on mute. Am I on mute? What? Am I Billy? Don't do that if I'm not on mute, mate, because I don't have a producer. I don't have somebody else monitoring my feed and stuff. So if my picture's glitching or my mic's on mute, it's up to you to tell me that's happening. Okay, so please don't. It's a bit distracting. The Oval Office, right? We were talking about the Oval Office. So yesterday, dickhead Musk turns up and he's pantsing around. He's got his child who's called X. Is the child named after the cesspool of hatred that is the old Twitter platform? Is that what he's named after, or is the cesspit of hatred that was the old Twitter platform named after his son X? And what's this with renaming everything? Twitter got renamed X. We got Gulf of Mexico being renamed the Gulf of America. What's this? What's this thing with like changing the names of things? That's not allowed, is it? I thought people weren't allowed to change their names. I thought that was the whole thing. I thought changing your name was woke. I thought you had to keep the name that you were given by your parents when you were born. Yeah. Why is it okay to okay, well, I'm going to continue to dead name the Gulf of Mexico, and I'll continue to dead name Twitter for as long as I live, because that's what they are called, as far as I'm concerned. And if they don't want to, actually respect other people's, requests to rename themselves or something else, then why should we? Why should we? Peter, I can hear you fine. Thank you, Peter. He defended the Musk defended his government purge, claiming it was common sense. Oh my God, how many times have we heard that? Common sense. When people talk about something that is demonstrably not common, just something that's demonstrably horrible, and they go, oh no, it's just common sense. It's just common sense that we gut these government departments that are actually helping the world. We have to get rid of them. And you have to give me, the richest man in the world, access to these departments so I can gut them and slap food out the mouths of starving orphans on the other side of the planet, because it's very important that I do that. It's for the American people. It's definitely for the American people. It's not the fact that this year the tax cuts for the super wealthy that Trump brought in 8 years ago run out. It's not because of that, is it? Is it because they run out this year? They run out this year. There's a sunset clause on them, so they need to find trillions of extra money to continue to feed them and their billionaire chums with as much money as they can eat. Well, more money than they can possibly eat in a lifetime. You've got to understand that Musk has more money than Smaug. Like, the dragon in The Hobbit, he's on a mountain, he's in a mountain, and there's a big pile of gold, all those gold coins. Someone worked out how much all that gold would be worth based on the size of the dragon and the size of the pile, and then the worth of the Arkenstone and stuff like that. And it turns out that actually Smaug's pile of gold is a fraction of what this guy Elon Musk seems to own somehow through the power of belief and dupes, lots and lots of dupes. The people who gave Donald Trump and Donald Trump's wife loads of money just before the inauguration for their dodgy cryptocurrency that they launched and then dissolved within 2 days after they'd taken a load of money off some dickheads. A fool and their money is soon parted. I think P.T. Barnum said that, or at least he said that sucker's born every minute. And he's absolutely right. Trump has signed an executive order which has expanded Doge's power, forcing federal agencies to comply with Musk's directives. Now, again, Musk is not elected. He's not appointed. He's not he's not appointed by Congress. He's not been sanctioned. He's not been looked at. They've not looked into his history of ketamine abuse. It's fascinating that the same people who wanted Prince Harry to be deported because he admitted in his book to taking drugs, and when he applied to come to America, you have to sign something to say that you don't take drugs or you've never taken drugs or whatever. And they've got Elon Musk, who's a fucking ket addict. He's on the special K. He's mad for horse tranquilizer, and he talks about it. He admits it. He's not even secretive about it. And no one's calling for his deportation back to fucking South Africa, are they? He can't be deported back to the South Africa that he'd like to be deported back to, because apartheid doesn't exist anymore. The world which he grew up in no longer exists. And this is one of the really powerful emotional pulls for this type of person, this type of mindset, is like they hark back to a world that is no longer there. It's the English disease, as Suede once sang. Brett sang. And like it's this hankering for a world that's gone. It's not there anymore. We can't have apartheid again. But Musk would like that in America. It'd like that very much. Let's get rid of all the DEI initiatives, and we'll make sure that everyone in charge of everything is a PSM hire, is someone who went to private school. I added my 1,206th name to my PSM list, my private school mafia list this morning. Some dickhead on GB News who was there saying, "Oh, you never guess what they spend their money on with overseas aid. They spend it on this, they spend it on that." I'm sure Maximilian's going to be doing a video about this later today, but so look out for it. But just the shit that this guy was coming out with. He was talking about the fact that we spent X amount in Mogadishu doing this gardening or something, and I'm sitting there going, he's either being disingenuous or like he's completely fucking naive and stupid at like what the British do in places like Mogadishu. Do you think they're going to write down? Do you think they're going to write down assassination of militia leader? 1,200 fucking pounds. Do you reckon they're going to write that down on official fucking, government stationery? No, they're going to say, "Oh, we needed to charge £1,200. £120,000 for gardening. It's gardening, yeah. We had to plant some flowers on the grave of the person that we had assassinated." Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no nuance to these people. There's no reading between the lines. They're just like, "Oh God, what a stupid thing to spend money on." Nothing about the 700 million that we sent to Rwanda to send no refugees there. That Rwanda, the government of Rwanda and Paul Kagame, the leader, are now using it to wage war on their neighbours. Great, well done, yes. Let's cause some instability in Africa by giving a dictator shitloads of money and telling everyone that Rwanda's a safe country. It's a safe country. Yeah, it's a safe country if you're not a refugee. Safe country if you're white and you got some money, you'll probably be all right there. Safe country if you're a representative of the British government. They're not going to go after you, are they? Especially when the magic fucking money tree is blossoming. Is blossoming. £700 million. And didn't no mention of the COVID contracts either. Over several billion pounds spent given to people like Matt Hancock's fucking pub landlord. Oh, okay, yeah, don't mention that. No. Just something else that I should mention this week before I start talking about Musk as well. There was an interview with Dominic Cummings, who likes to see himself as the Elon Musk of Britain. Same sort of thing, unelected, got into loads of power through just being there at the right time, at the right place, being slightly more competent than anyone else around him for the private school mafia of which he is a part. But that's not saying much, because the private school mafia, by and large, not all of them, there are some very talented bastards from the PSM. They're all PSM hires, but there are some very, very talented people who did go to private school in this country. However, there are literally thousands of people who went to private school in this country who are fucking useless and shouldn't be put in charge of running a fucking bath, never mind a country. So Cummings was interviewed this week, and he admitted that it was him that was drip feeding all the stuff about Partygate, which in a way you're like, oh good, I'm glad that came out and toppled Boris Johnson. But in another way, that was a coup. That was a guy who was butthurt because Carrie Simmons was being listened to and not him, and he went off in a big huff. He was flounced out of number 10 with his box and his anger and his stupid fucking clothes, and then he decided to bring down the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom in revenge. Now, I mean, I think that Boris Johnson needed to be brought down, but that's not the point. The point that a private citizen, privately educated citizen as well, has that much power is wrong in our society. It shouldn't happen that way. We're a democratic state, but we're obviously not that democratic, and neither is America, hence Musk. Thanks very much to SG for the super chat. The condoms for Gaza that USAID sent turned out to be for Gaza, Mozambique, to help prevent HIV/AIDS. Yeah, to help save lives, to literally help save lives. And people go, oh, but if you know you've got AIDS, you shouldn't have sex. And people don't know. Testing is expensive. And, obviously there's charities out there that are doing tests for people. But also there's this, like, if you're, imagine you're married, right? And you're living in Mozambique, you're a woman and your husband goes away to work in the mines or something in a neighboring country, in Lesotho or something, and then comes back and the HIV positive. What do you do to protect yourself? as a woman? What do you do? And this happens a lot. This happens a lot. In Lesotho in particular, when I was there in 2010, the stats were just staggering. It was 1 in 5. It might be even more than that now. 1 in 5 people in the country was HIV positive. And yeah, anything that people, other countries can do to help in this situation, that is a good thing to do, to help out, your fellow humans who are in a bit of bother, who are distressed, who have got, diseases and need food, and are we supposed to help? Isn't that what we're meant to do? Didn't Captain Kirk say that the 3 most beautiful words in the galaxy were, please help me? I don't believe that. I think the 3 most beautiful words in the English language are you were right. But that's because I'm a narcissist. SG, thank you very much for that super chat. It's very kind of you. But yeah, the amount of unchecked power by people like Dominic Cummings and Elon Musk. I mean, this is off the charts now for Elon Musk. This is like power that no one has ever had in the history of the planet before. Levels of power. So's Trump, by the way. Trump's got power that no one's ever known. No one has ever known the amount of power that Trump has had. Biden could have flexed his muscles last year, and I think he should have done. I think he should have had Trump arrested for treason and made to dig a ditch, dig a hole and jump in the hole and leave him there. That's what I think should have happened to Trump last year under President Biden, and, come what may, that's what should have happened. They lost the election anyway. Now, at that point, when the Supreme Court said anything that the president finds pleasurable, they can do, he can do. It's always been a he so far. That was the point when Trump could not become president no matter what. Like, it wasn't just a case of national security. It was a case of Earth security. It was a case of the security of the entire race of humans that live on this planet and all the other species and all while you're at it. Yeah, I meant Gaza, a province in Mozambique. Nothing to do with Palestine. Yeah, madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. I want Trump to explain how you make bombs out of condoms. I guess you fill them with water and throw them at people. Yeah, but the thing is with condoms is if you fill them with water and throw them at people, they tend not to explode. Do you know what I mean? They kind of like bounce off and go and sort of fall on the ground. You get extra thin. Extra thin might burst. But they're designed not to burst, you see. But they do sometimes. Anyway, so we were talking about Trump signing an executive order. Trump has dismissed concerns about conflict of interest, despite Musk has dismissed concerns about conflict of interest, despite having billions in federal contracts for SpaceX, for Starlink, for Tesla, for fucking whatever else bullshit he's got his fingers in. And don't forget, like, SpaceX were like, oh, wow, they've landed a rocket and it landed vertically, like in some kind of fucking, high-tech version of button fucking moon. But listen, right, that happened, 7-8 years after it was meant to? Like, they are way behind schedule. They are charging NASA, or they're charging the American government, charging the American people 4 times what the Russians were. And the rockets keep blowing up. Why do the rockets keep blowing up? Because of the work culture. Working for SpaceX is fucking horrible. Everyone hates it. Everyone hates working for Twitter. Everyone hates working for Tesla. They fucking hate their jobs because Elon Musk tortures people. He tortures the people that work for him. He gives them no job security. He does mad things like gives them an email. And there was a thing today about tossing a coin to decide who keeps their jobs at certain government agencies. I mean, like, the guy is a fucking nightmare. The idea of his employees having peace of mind is another country for him. And Anyway, Trump actively praised Musk. He didn't say much in this sort of press junket, whatever the fuck it was, in the Oval Office. He just sat there most of the time. But he did praise him, publicly reaffirming his complete trust in him, despite growing backlash from people. I mean, even some Republicans are getting a bit arsey about it. And, like, I can see why. Imagine being a Republican right now. I mean, imagine being such a cook, as they call us, such a beta, such a deprived citizen, and depraved as well because they're Republicans. But Imagine spending your whole life building up power, bit by bit, phone call by phone call, smelchy backdoor deals by backdoor deals. Like these people, they have spent their entire life in Washington begging for money for their re-election campaigns and turning up to shit that they don't want to be at, cookouts and Girl Guide fucking cookie jamborees. They don't give a shit about any of that. Going out, having to meet jam-faced children, bloody crotch spawn and womb goblins and pretend to be nice to them. I mean, who wants to do that? No one wants to do that. Your own kids are bad enough. Other people's kids are even fucking worse. They don't want to do that. And yet they did it. They put in the years, they put in the hours, they put in the mileage. They did it to get their job as a senator or member of the House of Representatives. And they turn up, they clock in, they turn up to boring ass meetings and Senate review committees and select committees and all this shit, right? And then some rich guy just turns up and takes all their power from them. Everything they've accumulated over all these years, that power is taken from them by some immigrant. PSM hire immigrant who's a mate of the leader. And the leader brings him in and says, "This is my mate, Elon. He's going to do things. He's going to really shake up the place." If I was one of those Republican lawmakers, I wouldn't be too happy. I'd just say that. Maybe they are. Maybe they're like, "Oh God, thank God someone else has come and taken this power away from me that I've spent my entire life building up." I don't think so. I just don't think. I mean, I could be wrong. I've never met a Republican congressman or congresswoman, but I could just imagine what they're like. I don't think they're going to go for that, are they? They're not going to go, "Oh yeah, it's all right, Elon, you shoulder the burden of power. I don't want it anymore. I don't want my words to have any effect on the future of my country. You just do all the work for me. I'll just sit at home watching you do things on TV and being completely neutered in my own right to do anything." Yeah, literally being castrated, really. This is what Elon Musk has done to the Republican Party. He's castrated it. He turned it into a eunuch. They can watch what's going on, but they can no longer take part. I'm sure they fucking love that. Do you love that, Mr. Republican, watching this maybe, on the off chance? Do you love it? Do you love the fact that another guy's come and just shit all in your bed? Now you have to sleep in it. In his shit in your bed. Wow, that was smart. That must really hurt. That must really fucking hurt. That would hurt me. I'd spent all my life doing something, trying to build something, and someone else comes along and takes it all from me and makes me completely redundant. No point in me even getting up in the morning. May as well just stay in bed. Stay in my shitty Elon Musk shit bed. My bed of shit from Elon Musk. The richest man in the world. And these Republican lawmakers are just like, "Okay, Elon, okay. Whatever you say, Elon. You're the best, Elon." Just saying. Anyway, so Musk is called civil servants, unelected, unconstitutional. It's called civil servants and unelected, unconstitutional fourth branch of government, which is ironic coming from a man who is a unelected, unconstitutional fourth branch of government. He slashed foreign aid, as we mentioned. He shut down at USAID, and he's crippled medical research by cutting NIH funding. And he's also infiltrated multiple departments, including education and Homeland Security and the Treasury, without congressional oversight. And he's also helped Trump to defy court rulings. I've said this for a while now. Nothing's going to stop these motherfuckers. And yeah, if you would prefer to watch a channel that is slightly less emotional and then tells you that the courts are coming to save the day and the Constitution, as I keep saying, is going to ride in on a white horse and, like King fucking Richard at the end of Robin Hood. He's going to ride in the light, like Gandalf at the Battle of Helm's Deep. He's going to appear. Oh my God, it's the Constitution. Thank you, Gandalf Constitution. Gandalf the White, big new staff. Well done, Gandalf with your big white staff. Thank you, Constitution, for coming over the hill and saving the day. No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen, because they will just ignore the court orders, any court orders, and that doesn't matter because there's no oversight to the president of the United States at the moment. There used to be the law, which there was like the president, and then there was the law. Now it's the law and the president above the law. You see what they've done? You see what they did to themselves? So there's nothing to stop them doing anything that they fucking want to do. Can't get this through to enough people. Like, there are other channels that are available that'll say that, that they can be stopped and people are turning against them. And there's massive protests all over America. They're just hiding. They're just hiding. Just you wait. Just you wait. You'll see pictures from the big thing we had yesterday. 3 people turned up and a dog. I mean, I shouldn't take the piss, but I will, because, like I said the other day, I'm getting a bit miffed off with all these clickbait sites going, yes, Donald Trump is over. Times Radio are the worst for it. Have you seen Times Radio? Every bloody thumbnail is like, Putin, done for. Putin, thrown out of window. Russia is over. Russian war is over. Russia has lost the war. Or Trump is to be demolished, and replaced with a casino. I mean, like, it's just like, okay. And then you watch the actual interview and no one says anything like that on Times Radio. They're really bad for the clickbaity headlines when you're like, oh, Trump's going to die soon. Cool. And then you look and then actually, no, that's not the case at all. Anyway, so yes, the Musk is actively interfering with global politics, and this is where it affects us. He has tweeted repeatedly about Keir Starmer. He has also tweeted about government ministers, actually MPs, like Jess Phillips, calling her an apologist for child rape or something, which is a horrific thing to say to anyone. Never mind a woman who has dedicated her life to protecting women against abuse. And he's backed far-right parties across Europe, including the AfD, which is the closest thing to the actual Nazi party, apart from Trump and Elon, of course. But it's German, so it's it's got that particular Nazi flavour to fascism when it's German as well. If you're gonna shout at someone in fascist and you're speaking German, ooh, yeah, a bit close to the bone, But I'm sure that the thousands of Americans who died in World War II fighting the Nazis will be proud that their descendants have now decided to elect Nazis to run fucking America. So the Nazis actually won World War II. It just took them a while. Just took them 100 years. Tim Ballum, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. That's very kind of you. If you believe in AI, I have a book on foraging to sell you. It could literally unalive you. See Atomic Shrimp's video on AI books. Okay. AI books are a terrible, terrible idea. That's why you should buy a real book written by a real person, like Man of the World by Graham Hughes. You should read this. It's very funny. There's also an audio book that you can listen to for free on Spotify, apparently, because, I've never made any money out of Spotify, so why not just listen to it for free? Because, fuck it, who cares? So, yeah, back to Musk, if I must. Musk. Musk is running the government like one of his failing startups, like the Hyperloop, etc. His idea of efficiency means massive layoffs, gutting regulations, and handing control to corporations. And we've seen what happened with X. I mean, the value of X just absolutely plummeted. So the value of America absolutely plummets. What do you think is going to happen? If the value of America plummets, yeah, people are going to lose their jobs. People are going to lose their life savings. People are going to lose their lives. He has zero experience in governance, and he's using the government as his personal playground to do what the fuck he likes, and to reshape the country into his mad agenda, his mad ketamine-fueled agenda, which is to allow corporations to run riot and for the little people to just stay down, stay the fuck down, while him and his mates, ride roughshod over the values and the rights and the privileges and the history and the culture of an entire nation, a nation that isn't even fucking theirs. They're immigrants there, someone else's country. And these are the people who go on about immigrants all the time as well, being the worst. Trump married to an immigrant and also, consorting. He's got an immigrant on the side, which is Elon Musk. Musk's past ventures show a pattern of reckless decision making. And, Twitter is a disaster. Tesla is under investigation. His self-driving cars are a safety hazard. But he doesn't care. He doesn't care how many people have to die in order for him to achieve whatever the fuck mad shit he wants to achieve. How's his trip to Mars going? He was going to have people living on Mars by 2025. How's that going? By the way, don't live on Mars, okay? It's a one-way ticket. You will die. You will die. Just don't. It's not a great place to be. It's no place to raise the kids, as they say. The people who spend a long time in space come back with certain medical conditions, and they've only just been in space, for a year or so. If you go to Mars, it's a 10-year mission, 10 years in space effectively, but no protection whatsoever against the sun and its solar winds. There's no magnetic core that's glooping around in the middle of Mars. It's dead. The center of Mars is dead, and it just gets bombarded with radioactive rays from the sun, which is a big, massive nuclear furnace in the middle of our solar system. There's no life on the moon because it has no atmosphere, because it has no magnetic core, and it's too small probably to have one anyway. But it means that it just gets blasted with solar radiation. And that's what will happen to you on Mars if you go to Mars. It's the stupidest thing I could possibly imagine the human race doing right now, because we have bigger fish to fry here on Earth. We have to stop climate change. But Musk and Trump are not interested in stopping climate change because, it's money. It's like, where are they going to make the money? They're not going to make any money out of solar panels. There's no solar panel lobby. There's no wind turbine lobby. There's an oil lobby, though. Anyway, so if Musk really did believe in cutting government waste, why is he cutting USAID, which is like a tiny, tiny fraction of what the US government spends on stuff? Why is he going after that? Why isn't he going after military spending, which is cock-a-loop? Like, the amount of money the American government spend on their military is just mind-blowing. I read once that it was for every dollar that you spend in tax in America, 50 cents of it goes to the military. It is the biggest social enterprise on the planet, and it pays for the food, the wages, the accommodation of thousands upon thousands of Americans all over the world, in the Navy, in the Air Force, and in the Army. But then there's never too much money that can be given to the American military. I would say there was. I think that the American military should be scaled down somewhat if you want to cut costs. That's a way of doing it, but they won't. They won't. They will cut Medicaid and cut Medicare. They will let American citizens die rather than make it so that the troops over in Djibouti aren't able to eat McDonald's every day like they want to. What's the consumer protection thing? Well, it was a body in America that it was called the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and essentially that was what it was. It was to stop banks and financial houses and things just riding roughshod over people's rights, because obviously it's a tyrannical power relationship between people who have no money and people who have lots of money. And so it was there to protect people against, I guess, stuff like the credit crunch started all this in the first place in 2008. And then, Trump's agenda, Musk's agenda, because we're talking about Musk here, really. I mean, Musk is obviously running the show, and Trump is just his little dancing monkey with a little miniature symbol in his little tiny miniature hands. Musk's agenda is just it's outright fascist. He demonizes civil servants. He and centralizes power around Trump. He spouts far right white nationalist rhetoric. He's done a Nazi salute twice, which then his acolytes said, "Oh no, it's not really a Nazi salute if you look at it upside down or something stupid." And then, I mean, they honestly think we're as stupid as they are when they say things like that. It's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't kicked in the head by a horse into a vat of toxic chemicals that turned me into a supervillain. And then you've got, the fact that he's been addressing like the AfD in Germany and stuff like that, and interfering in our politics over here. He uses X to push propaganda, Nazi propaganda, to silence silence critics, and to spread misinformation and disinformation, purposeful misinformation about stuff. And his obsession with controlling information in governments aligns with classic authoritarian takeovers that we've seen in history time and time and time again. And, let's talk about the end game. We talked about this the other day, didn't we? What is Musk's end game? He has virtually no checks on his power at all. With a Republican Congress who are cowed into submission. They're in a state of like awe of, oh, Musk, come, do our job for us. We don't want to do it anymore. And then you've got, the fact that we've got a Trump-friendly Supreme Court, and they're not going to go against anything that Trump wants to do. Any power that he wants to do. Federal courts have blocked some of his actions, but Trump is openly defying the judiciary. And the gutting of government will hurt working class Americans first. I mean, well, billionaires like Musk and Thiel and Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and all these motherfuckers just get richer and richer and richer. It's the biggest corporate coup in the history of the world. And Musk is, I would say, even more dangerous than Trump right now, because there is a mechanism for getting rid of Trump. Although it's not going to be used, there is a mechanism, the 25th Amendment. It's not going to be used, but it exists. With Musk, there is no power that exists in America to stop this immigrant, ket addict, drug addict immigrant who's come to America to destroy America, and there's nothing to stop him from doing that, except the American people. Unfortunately for us, and I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, told you that, the American people support what he's doing. The American people think it's fucking great. Not all of them, clearly, obviously, but enough of them do. They're like, yeah, we need to get rid of government waste. Why are we giving 1 million condoms to people in Gaza? What's all that about? And they fall for the lies and the disinformation and the misinformation because they want to believe that their lives could be made magically better by billionaires. They don't seem to understand or care that billionaires only want one thing: more billions. And they will do any tactic, any shady shit in order to achieve that goal. And this is where we are. This is where we are right now. It's up to the American people to stand up and say no to this. Are they standing up? I can't see them. I can't see the massive protests against this. People just seem to be letting it happen. Have the Democrats been cowed into submission? Have the supporters of the Democrats, the supporters of democracy, have they been cowed into submission? Have all of the minorities in America who are being thrown on the scrap heap, are they not going to fight back? Is anyone going to fight back? Is anyone going to rise up and tell Elon Musk to fuck off? Are they? Because I can't fucking see him at the moment. Everyone's like, oh no, I'm sure something will happen. I'm sure something will turn up. There's things going on, Graham. No, tap me nose, wink me eye. Are there? Show me. Show me. Trump is one thing, right? Elon Musk is another. Elon Musk didn't run for office. He is not elected. He has not been vetted by Congress. And yet he is running America. And yesterday's Oval Office stunt wasn't just a power grab. It was a declaration of war on democracy itself. And for those Americans, few Americans are watching this because obviously it's the middle of the night in America. But for those Americans who can do something, fucking do something. Do something now, because a stitch in time saves nuclear war. And this is a guy who is a private citizen who has no right to do what he is doing. The only right that he has is conferred to him by the American people doing nothing. Anyway, so on that cheery note, we'll head over to the papers. Should we head over to the papers? Let's go over to the papers. Big shout out to Josh there. Got to take generations to recover. You're absolutely right, mate. Veg Pie, I lay and his trolley in a hospital gown waiting for a wrist operation under general anaesthetic. See you on the other side. Oh, Veg Pie, good luck with the surgery, and I'll speak to you afterwards, all right? All the best with it. Get well soon. Stephen Hardy, Chris Hedges speaks of magical thinking as a feature of population in a society where capitalism is in its terminal stage. He cites Christian fundamentalism as an example of this. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is why there's no reset. They are marching, but news blackout on protesters, says Jane Lockwood. Show me the images. I mean, is there a blackout on social media? Like, show me the pictures of the massive protests. I mean, I know that a lot of the anti-Brexit protests weren't really covered by the British media, clearly. But, like, we have pictures, we have videos. We have videos from a fucking helicopter showing like 1 million people out in London saying we do not want Brexit. It's going to be a fucking disaster. And hey, lo and behold, it was a fucking disaster. But at least we turned out. Yes, there is a blackout on social media, says Shazek32. What, on Blue Sky here on YouTube? Send me the videos then, okay? Find out who's got the videos. Send me them and I will put them on my channel here. And we'll see if they stop me. If you'll see if the powers that be come down on me like a ton of bricks and say, don't show this footage of this demonstration, Graham, to anyone because we don't want people getting ideas. I mean, I think that all things being equal, it's better that you show the footage of demonstrations because then at least people think that there's something happening. Because if people think there's nothing happening, they might have to take measures into their own hands. Which is even more dangerous for the people in power. Anyway, right. Here's the newspapers here. We've got Dennis Law. Dennis was my hero. He'll fight his granny for a goal. A weird way of putting in it. Tories' painful legacy left to rot. 1 in 4 kids aged 5 have tooth decay. That doesn't surprise me at all. Minister's bid to get service back on its feet. Dentistry in the UK has been one of the Tories' pressure points because obviously they're all rich private school cunts and they can afford country people and they can afford the private dental bills for them and their disgusting off-breed, their jam-faced crotch nuggets. The rest of us can't and they don't care because it doesn't affect them. Like Brexit, doesn't affect the rich, just affects everyone else. It does affect the rich when they have to wait in an airport queue because they can't just go to the EU queue. You got to wait behind people from all over the world to get into the country. So, add an extra 2 hours onto your travel time. The Times here and it leads here at the top, this banner here. What Gianna De Campo told me, bracket, before he was cancelled. Fuck off. Like, oh, he's been cancelled. Oh, poor guy's been cancelled. This is a guy who made some really, really inappropriate remarks to young researchers and runners working on his shows. He threatened to rape people. Do you know what I mean? Like, he threatened to have sex with someone's girlfriend if he didn't get a fucking cornetto. I'm sorry. That's not being cancelled, all right? Stop using that fucking word. He's been cancelled. He's been cancelled. Oh my God, he's been cancelled. No, he fucked around and he's been found out. You shouldn't behave like that on a TV show, when you are in a position of power, when you have power over other people. You can't act like that. It is a tyrannical abuse of power to do that. So he can fuck off, and the Times can fuck off because it's owned by Rupert Murdoch, and it's a tabloid basically these days. It's not what Uncle Bulgaria used to read. Obese staff get weight loss job through work health plans. Okay. The obese office staff will be able to receive weight loss jabs on their work medical insurance for the first time. Okay, good. Okay, fine. Judge tweak hits support for assisted dying bill here. MPs reconsider vote over loss of safeguards. This is to do with the assisted dying bill and the fact there's been like 200 amendments added to it, and it's got to be a process getting it through Parliament, I think. And for absolutely no reason at all, there's a picture of Princess Kate. I think this is because when she was being treated for cancer and wasn't in the public eye so much, the newspapers just, I don't know how they filled the front page without a picture of Princess Kate. But now she's back in the public eye. They need, by law, to have a picture of Princess Kate on the front cover of a newspaper every fucking day, in case we forget what she looks like. Do you know what I mean? Daily Mail here. Labour's new border watchdog will work from home in Finland. Okay. What, like your Richard Littlejohn works from home in fucking Florida? Yeah, okay. Grinning Meghan's beer with Bublé. Supping on the soap. So if you haven't got a picture of Princess Kate, you've got to have a picture of Princess Meghan on the front cover of your newspaper. That's the only way to sell things, isn't it? Princesses. Jesus, what a world in which we live. UK savings rates cut by 30 banks, and first mortgage deals under 4%, which is the saving rates. That's not great for people who are saving, but the fact that mortgage deals now under 4% interest is a good thing finally, but still it's a lot higher than it used to be. Zelensky, Europe cannot protect Ukraine without Trump's support. Ukrainian leader may offer reconstruction contracts to sway Trump, which would make sense. He's a shrewd operator, is Zelensky, and I hope that the worst doesn't happen to Ukraine, but I don't hold out much hope that Trump will do the right thing, because he's a fucking monster. Trump is a monster, and the people who support him are fucking monsters as well. They think it's funny when, children die, that babies die in their mother's arms because they can't get the medicine that was supposed to be there because they were relying on USAID medicine. Like, if they knew they weren't be able to get USAID medicine, they would have sourced it from elsewhere, but they weren't given an opportunity to even do that. And now babies are dying, mothers are dying in childbirth in developing nations as a direct result of Trump and Elon Musk. Of course, they needed a picture of Kate. It was raining and she had an umbrella. Don't you see, says Anne Phillips. Oh, that'll be it, definitely. And then I'm sure this lady who's standing next to Princess Kate is not very happy about them using that particular picture of her on the front cover of various newspapers, but there you go. We've got Alison Peterson here. Lefty lawyers have killed patriotism. All right, they pay her. She gets paid. I think she's part of the private school mafia as well. I'm not sure actually. I'm just gonna do a quick check. Oh, actually no. Don't use that window, Graham. I don't know if she's actually part of the private school mafia. I've got a feeling that she isn't, but I might be just misremembering. But I am gonna check in real time now. I've got me big list here. Let's have a look. We've got Alfie Allen, Alfie Brown, Alfred Enoch, Ali Mirage, Alice Eve, Alice Roberts, Alice Thompson, Alison Oliver, Alison Russell, Alistair Brownlee, Alistair Potts, Alistair Jack, Allegra Stratton, Alok Sharma. No, she's not there. There were the other Als in there. No, she's not actually privately educated, but she is a gobshite. So not hashtag, not everyone who went to state school is all right. Surprisingly. Prince William is Britain's diplomatic trump card. That's a weird way of putting it. Okay. Sinn Féin First Minister snubs King's invitation. Sinn Féin are anti-monarchy. Why would they not snub the invitation? I don't know. Anyway, Court gives Gazans right to settle in UK. Home Office warns floodgates will open after judge rules on use of Ukraine schemes. Open the floodgates. I love this. Open the floodgates. Yeah, let's open the fucking floodgates. Daily Telegraph. Let's get loads of people from all over the world, different colours, different races, different religions, different sexualities. Let's bring them all over here because it'll make our country richer. And do you know what this country needs fewer of? Statistically, proportionately, horrible old white men like the people who run the Daily Telegraph. Reeves has no fiscal headroom and will have to raise taxes, experts warn. That's actually probably true. Another picture of Kate on the front cover of the Daily Express. So that's 3 Kates and 1 Meghan. Dame Esther supports precautions being added to assisted dying bill. MPs must back crucial right to die law. Esther Ranson told MPs the right to die will have the correct precautions in place and they should back it. Yeah, I mean, it will do, obviously. I mean, good. Like, spend time doing it properly and making sure there's precautions in place so people can't use this as a way of murdering their wealthy relatives, okay? I mean, it's not going to be easy, but at the same time, it's not rocket science. The FBI finds 2,400 new documents of assassinated President JFK, the secret files, which are going to, I guarantee, right? And I don't think there's going to be any shocking things in this, right? I think that it's going to be like, what's her name? Hillary Clinton's emails all over again. Remember Hillary Clinton's emails? Remember they were like, oh my God, her emails are going to come out and everyone's going to find out what she's really like. And then they came out and there was nothing in there. It was just like, I don't know, people talking. Arranging meetings and things. Financial Times here. Jordan talks. Gaza takeover plan replayed. By the way, for those JFK papers, they were mislabeled. So I'm assuming that for years they were available to people because they didn't know they were part of the JFK investigation. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything particularly spellbinding. I guarantee it will not really change anything. I don't think. Trump trades backfire as greenback weakens and bond yields come down. Inflation expectations ease. Focus turns to potential economic blow. Bets against renminbi sour. The renminbi, which is impossible to say, is the Chinese currency. And it's like, why have you made it such a difficult word to say, China, especially for Chinese people? Like, what? But yeah, so these idea that Trump is gonna do these trades, he's gonna bring in these tariffs, he's gonna wheel and deal. This is a guy who bankrupted the casino. He's gonna bankrupt America. We all know it. We can all see. Give all the money to his mates. Give all the money to Elon Musk and all that lot. And they're going to ride off into the sunset to Mars, I presume. Good. Go to Mars, please. Go to Mars. Never come back. Absurd. We cannot sack rogue cops. This is a dreadful, dreadful story. A judge has ruled that a police officer that was accused of multiple sexual assaults can't be fired by the Met. Like, what? So this is a disgraceful. This is an absolutely disgraceful judgment ruling by a judge. And fuck me, I don't know where this goes from here. I mean, I assume we're gonna have a change in the law to make it so that if someone is accused of sexual assault by numerous people, even if it's not proved in a court of law, they shouldn't be in a position where they are a police officer going round to the homes of vulnerable people. Anyway, Mike says Graham's list is not definitive of private school mafia. No, it's not definitive, but I think I looked up Alison Pearson, and she went to a grammar school. I don't think she went to a private school. Released the Epstein files, and that'll be something. However, too many Dems on those for anything to happen. Well, I mean, the Epstein files were released about Trump and Epstein being busy mates, and Trump riding on the Lolita Express numerous times. In fact, Trump used that same plane, the Lolita Express, to travel around America when he was campaigning to be re-elected for president. Did anyone care? No, they didn't. Because here's the thing, right? You know how some people have like this sort of respect for gangsters? They're like, oh, they come in and they steal and they deal drugs and they run protection rackets, and but they've got so much respect. They've got so much respect, and I'm like, fuck them, they're criminals, put them in jail forever, right? I think some people have the same attitude towards paedophiles. They have like this respect towards them, respect towards these people who abuse children. Well, at least they know what they want, eh? And they know how to get it, yeah? Respect. What the fuck is wrong? Especially when people are like this, parents, and they've got children of their own, or grandparents, little kids running around the house, and they're all like, you know what I like? Paedophiles running everything. I definitely want someone who is definitely a sexual offender, like Donald Trump, who is definitely a sexual offender. He's an adjudicated rapist. I want him running the country. That's what I want, And then maybe you could give my small little grandchildren a bath afterwards. Maybe you could do that. Yeah, I respect him. I respect his forthrightness of the fact that he's a fucking nonce. Bizarre. Absolutely fucking bizarre. It's really weird the way the world has gone. Those same people a few years ago, if it had been a Democrat who had been hanging out with Epstein and being on the Lisa Express, they'd be screaming, from the hilltop, oh my God, they're a paedophile. There's a paedophile ring in the Democrat Party. There's a paedophile in the Oval Office, people. You put him there, you fucking dickheads. But they're like, oh no, he's our paedophile. He's okay. Trump's our paedophile. He's on our side. We can use him. We can use him. I love it when people are being played and they're so fucking dim. They're like, oh yeah, I'm actually the one playing him, if you think about it. No, you're really not. Anne says, I'm in two minds about that judgment. If the judge is correct and the law doesn't allow the cop to be fired, it's not the judge's fault. The law needs amending. Well, yes, the law does need amending, but it's just a disgraceful situation that we've found ourselves in. And I think that needs emergency legislation, because that just cannot be allowed to happen. And I've spoken about this on the channel before, but it really fucks me off when people talk. They just parrot this line. They don't really think about what it means, where they say they're innocent until proven guilty. No, that's actually not how it works, technically, or anything else. They're not innocent until proven guilty. They're not proven guilty until proven guilty. There's a difference, right? Obviously, the police don't think a person is innocent when they arrest them, okay? So they're not presuming innocence of a person who they have arrested. They are presuming that they have enough evidence to build a case to take this person to court for the crime for which the police think they have committed, right? So this innocence of proven. Also, look on the flip side of that. If you're going to say innocence until proven guilty, you are saying, especially for someone who's been a victim of sexual assault, you're saying that they are guilty immediately. As soon as they talk, right, and say, this is what happened to me, report it to the authorities, they are guilty of perjury until proven otherwise. Look at the flip side of it. Because if the other person is innocent until proven guilty, then the person who's bringing the accusation is guilty until proven a victim. Which is a shit way of doing it. And it's not actually the way that our fucking legal system works. And it's one of the things why I really think one of the things that we need to change in our legal system is in England and Wales is to take the Scottish idea of having guilty, not guilty, and which isn't the same as innocent, by the way. It's not the same as innocent, okay? So you have guilty and not guilty, but they also have not proven, which means that if more evidence comes to light in the future, you can be put on trial again for the same crime. Neutralizes the double jeopardy clause, where people, get away with murder and then new evidence comes to light that they definitely did that fucking murder, but they can't be put on trial again for that same crime. What a great rule. By the way, our double jeopardy law isn't, I don't think, as strong as it is in America. Whereas if startling new evidence comes to light, then yes, you can go back on trial in certain circumstances. But I believe that it might be wrong. You can tell me if you know more about this than me, but I believe that it requires a sign off the Home Secretary or something. It goes quite high up. In one way, yes, fair enough. You shouldn't have to stand trial again and again and again for the same crime until they finally convict you. But having a third option where it's not proven and it can go to court again if more evidence comes to light would be a really sensible thing to do in the courts of England and Wales. They already do it and have done for a long time up in Scotland, and it makes sense to me. It makes absolute sense to me. England got rid of double jeopardy in 2003. There you go, Shazek's right. No, I mean, it can happen. It can happen. But I think you've got to jump through several hoops in order for it to happen. I think one of those things is it needs to go to the Home Office and they need to say, yeah, okay, fair enough. Or maybe the Director of Public Prosecutions has to sign off on it and say, yeah, okay, fair enough. Enough new evidence has come to light. But yes, Richie Goth, absolutely great. I'm sick of victims of sexual assault, sexual violence, and DV, and rape being painted as liars. The law needs to change. Yeah, absolutely, and give protection to victims, and get rid of this idea of like, I mean, it's a pop idea. It's not something that really exists in law. But innocent until proven guilty. No, if people have made serious accusations against someone, they should be cancelled. They should not be appearing on TV, because all you're doing by not cancelling them is saying that this kind of behaviour is okay. You know, encouraging it. You're encouraging. It's like if someone is accused of murder, I'm pretty sure they're taken off the TV screens. But if someone's accused of sexual violence, they're not necessarily taken off the TV screens. You know, you got Russell Brand still doing his fucking shows on Rumble and things like that. And there's no mechanism to stop those people appearing. Why is sexual violence, which can fuck up someone's life, does fuck up people's lives every fucking day, why isn't that seen as such a serious crime that it would make people not be able to appear on TV and appear on the internet and spin their lies, spin their way of telling the story to make them seem like that, you know, it wasn't their fault or some such absolute nonsense. It's very frustrating, and I think the law really does need to change and protect victims so much more. And you know, I know occasionally that people make shit up. Of course they do. You know, people with a vendetta decide to accuse someone who's innocent of some kind of sexual crime. But it's so rare that it's a ridiculous concept to think that we should put the whole of the judiciary, you know, build our whole society around the idea that a tiny minority might lie about being abused. And here's the sad fact, you know, here's the stat that every men's rights activist needs to fucking understand. Men are more likely to be sexually abused themselves than to be a victim of someone accusing them of sexual abuse. Protect the victim. Believe the victim. Get the person who's been accused to prove that they didn't do it. Prove they have consent. It would change our way of conducting ourselves. When I was a kid, I used to walk back from the crazy house at night. You know, I got £10 for working in my dad's shop on a Saturday. This is before minimum wage, and then I'll go out in the night. We'll meet up with my mates. We'll watch Shooting Stars. We'll walk to the crazy house. I'll get like 4 cans of Red Stripe throughout the night, and then I'd walk home because I couldn't afford the taxi fare. Right? I wouldn't do that now. Not because I'll be scared of someone abusing me, but I wouldn't do it because I would be attacking me, getting mugged or whatever. I walk through Kensington on my own, drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning. There you go. There's some white male privilege for you right there, walking down Kenny without getting mugged, without anyone giving me any hassle every weekend for several years. I wouldn't do that now because in a world in which I could be accused of a crime, a sexual crime, I would like to be able to prove where I was at all times. And so, for the same reason that a woman wouldn't necessarily walk home from town to the suburbs in Liverpool at night because she'll be worried about being assaulted, being attacked, I wouldn't do it because I'd be worried about being accused of being attacked and having no way of proving that I didn't do it. And it would change the way I behaved. It would change the way I behaved at parties. It would change the way I behaved. I wouldn't drink as much. I wouldn't get so drunk that I'm fucking, I can't remember what happened the next day. just in case. Just in case. And I know so many women who have to stop after 2 drinks because they don't want to put themselves into a vulnerable situation. A situation in which a judge in a court case could say something like, "Oh, so you had 4 vodka martinis or whatever the fuck you were drinking. You're asking for it. What were you wearing? How much did you had to drink? You know, I'd worry about what I was wearing. I'd worry about how much I'd had to drink if the tables were turned and the victims were believed, and it was up to me to prove that I didn't do that thing that I've been accused of doing, which is incredibly hard to prove that you didn't do it. That you did do it for the victim. It's very, very easy to prove you didn't do it if you didn't do it. I'm sorry, but it absolutely is. You should be able to prove consent over and over again. Have your messages gone through in your phone to prove that yes, this is what was wanted, and yeah. But the onus needs to be on the person accused, I think, of proving that they didn't do it, rather than the victim proving that the accused did do it. I think, and I know that that's you got to watch this going, oh God, the crane, that's a precarious path to go down. Yeah, but we'll look at the path we're on at the moment. Only 1 in 100 sexual abusers goes to jail for their crime. 1 in 100. Rape has been practically decriminalized in this fucking country. We need to do something. We need to shake up the system. We need to change the mentality of men. Because it's nearly always men. Not all men. Not all men. Someone suggested that we have a TV show called Not All Snakes, in which the people who say not all men are presented with a variety of snakes, and not all of them are venomous. Anyway, funny, when I lived on the edge of CC, any young Jewish girls walk around late at night when dark. Richie Goth says, we end up not going out. We pull out hair, put into taxis and Ubers to prove we were there. I have friends who record themselves live walking home. Yeah, Richie Goth. I know. And that thing about putting your fingerprints on the windows of the taxis and things like that. It's male privilege, Graham says the Witchy Goth. Yeah, absolutely right. Anyway, hopefully we can do something about it. But we've got so much stuff going on right now. They're trying to overwhelm us, and it's our job, I guess, not to be overwhelmed. So if you're not overwhelmed already, I'll be back at 12 o'clock for PMQs. So please join me for that. 12 o'clock today, where I'll be talking over what people are saying in Parliament. If you just want to hear what people are saying in Parliament, watch it on the BBC, people. Keep getting complaints. Why do you keep talking over the people talking? I'm like, it's the whole point of the show is I talk over them. And if they're a Tory talking bollocks, I might reserve the right to go as they talk, or put a big frog head over Farage if he ever gets to ask a question, as he did last week. So, okay, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for all the wonderful, wonderful messages. Thanks to you for being there, being there for me and for everyone else watching, and being there for each other. Good on you. Give us a like on the way out. Please feed the algorithm. That's not a joke. It does need feeding. It is voracious. It is very hungry, and it needs feeding, like the hungry caterpillar. Feed the algo. And until 12 o'clock today, and I hope to see you again, I'll say thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and